And then last time, we have begun on the sixth consciousness, which is called the mano consciousness in us. So we have 8 consciousnesses, and right now we are talking about the sixth consciousness, the mano consciousness. And we said that we look at it from 9 perspectives. The first one we already have explored, the perceived object, the externalities. The first 5 consciousness only perceive objects, raw objects, as they appear to be, and then objects distorted by imaginations, and objects out of imagination and illusion. These 2 states don't belong to the first 5 consciousnesses. So the 6 consciousnesses perceive objects in 3 ways. Objects as perceived in reality, objects distorted by imagination, and imaginary and illusory externalities. So the 6th consciousness, the mano consciousness, is extremely effective in observing the 3 externalities. So as far as the modes of knowledge, how does each consciousness get to know things? How does our consciousness get to understand, get to know? Through 4 methods. The first one is direct perception. The second one is inference. Third one is fallacy. Fourth one is knowledge from saints or from trustworthy sources. The 6th consciousness, the mano consciousness, know by the 4 methods: direct perceptions, inference, fallacy, and knowledge from saints. We already have touched on that. As far as the moral nature of the 6th consciousness, it has 3 natures in it: wholesome, unwholesome, and indeterminate, which is neutral. We already have touched on these. Now let's get to these are the concomitant mental functions. What are concomitant mental functions? We know that when each of our consciousness starts to work, not only the consciousness arises, there are also concomitantly 51 mental functions arising at the same time with the consciousness and carry out volitional actions or speech. And here's the 6th consciousness. Then let's explore this. Omnipresent mental functions, or universal, or always active. The first 5: attention, contact, sensation, perception, and volition. We already have explained all those in detail, what each one means. We're not going to go into detail as to what each one means, but right now we know that the first 5 consciousnesses have this omnipresent or always active mental functions. And the 6th, the mano consciousness, also has this 5, because they're universal. Each consciousness out of the 8, each one of them require this omnipresent mental functions to work. In other words, they require attention, contact, sensation, perception, and volition. To people who haven't been to our classes, probably you may not know what I'm talking about. We've been talking about all these for 1 year already. So there's a lot to catch up. If you just come for 1 or 2 times, you probably don't know what I mean. It seems to be a profound psychology course, but it is. Buddhism is about the psychology of the mind, not about just blind worshiping. It's about psychology of the consciousness. So the first 5, the 6th consciousness required, just like the first 5 consciousness, requires the first 5 omnipresent mental functions. And how about particular functions? Particular functions include 5 in them: desire, resolve, mindfulness, concentration, and intelligence. These are not always active. To some consciousness, it is active, and to some, it is not active. So to the first 5, these particular mental functions are active. To the 6th consciousness, this is also active too. And let me give you an example. In my 6th consciousness, my mano consciousness, I want to go to a meditation class. I desire to go to a meditation class. Yesterday, I had this consciousness, for example. I'm giving you an example. Friday evening, I was thinking, oh, tomorrow I'm going to go to the meditation class in the temple. That's a desire. You desire to go. That's an objective you set in mind, a desire to go. And then resolved. What is resolved? Well, maybe I shouldn't go. No. I must determine that I must go because it's good for me. I want to know what's in meditation. You have the resolution that you want to go. And then mindfulness. What is mindfulness? I remember I went there 3 weeks ago and it was quite good. And I remember what happened there. So I would like to go. And then concentration. Concentration is you're not moved by anything. You want to go. And intelligence, you have the intelligence of discerning. Well, if I don't go to meditation class, I probably would have slept in for another 3 hours. Sleeping in for another 3 hours on a Saturday morning, I can always do it. But going to a meditation class, it may not happen to me because if they're not holding a class, I cannot go. So you always have the intelligence of discerning what is better for you and what is not good for you. So these particular mental functions apply to the 6th consciousness. It may or may not. Say, if yesterday, your alternative is, yesterday you were thinking, should I go to that meditation class? No. Maybe I should just sleep in for another 5 hours. I'm tired anyway. I seem like I'm going to have a flu, so I may want to sleep in for another 5 or 6 hours. So I'm not going. So you don't set up that desire to go. Resolved, I'm not determined to go. Mindfulness, well, what's the use of going? It's just sitting there doing nothing, so I don't want to go. Concentration and intelligence, you don't have that. So particular mental functions, that means your consciousness may or may not have this mental functions concurrently working in your mind. Now, these particular mental functions could be on the good side and could be on the bad side. I'll give you an example. Last night, you were sleeping, you said, oh, tomorrow I should join my friend. Yeah, I should go to that casino. That casino was newly open, maybe I should just do a little bit of gambling. So I decided to go to that casino for gambling. So sometimes these particular mental functions could be a good one, could be a bad one. And then you decided to go to the casino, and then you resolve that you want to go, and you're so mindful that you want to go, and you just want to go to the casino to gamble. And the result, I don't know, you could win some money, and then you may lose some money. So it's just a gambling spirit in you. So this particular mental functions could be wholesome or unwholesome or neutral. Depends on, how do you want to do it. So in other words, why did the Buddha want you to study your own mind? So that you know how your mind works. So that you are in better control of your mind. When you want to take drugs, your mind wants to take drugs. So if you're on the right path, no, I shouldn't take drugs. I shouldn't, this is not good for me. Or you want to do something bad, and then you get into the right path to say, no, this is not what I want. So you have to control your own mind. You know why criminals become criminals? Because they can't control their mind. They just do as their sensory organ pleases. That's why they're out of control. So Buddhism is to let you study how your mind works so that you are in better control of your own mind. And when you are in good control of your own mind, wonders will come, especially if you're on the right path. Because you want to set your mind to do something good, you're so determined, you have that concentration, you have that desire, you have that resolve, you have that intelligence, you're set to do the right thing. You become a good man, a righteous man. You want to I want to get a university degree. Right now I'm in grade 12, and I want that university degree. I want to study hard for it. I have the desire to do it. I have the resolution that I want to do it. I have the mindfulness to do it. I have the concentration to do it. I have the intelligence to do it. Then you finally get it done. Then you become a university student, and then you have that resolution. Then you graduate with good scholastic results. Then then you're on your way to be educated. So who do you want to be? So this particular function sometimes arise, and sometimes they do not arise. Depends on under what influence that you have. Depends on what kind of thinking that you're involved with. All right. So the first 5 consciousnesses have the same omnipresent function, mental functions, and particular mental functions as the 6, the 5 and 5. How about unwholesome mental functions? Remember when we studied the first 5 consciousnesses, we have 13 unwholesome functions, unwholesome ones, that are related to our eyes, our ears, our nose, our taste, our tongue, our body. We have 13 unwholesome mental functions. But the 6th consciousness, the mano consciousness, it's more violent on that. It's more active on that. It has all the 26 unwholesome mental functions, not just 13. What are these 26? Let's get into these 26. What are these mental functions? Here are the 26 mental functions. If you add them together, 6 root, the basic mental functions, 8 primary mental functions, 2 medium mental functions, and 10 secondary mental functions. The ones that I highlighted, if you count them, they are 13. They are related with the first 5 consciousnesses. And all the others that are not highlighted, if you add them together with the highlighted ones, they come up to 26, which is the total. They are all related. They're all interactive with the 6th consciousness. So the 6th consciousness is extremely active. It has more mental, unwholesome mental functions than just the eyes, the nose, the ear, the taste, and the tongue, etc. Why? The 6th consciousness, the mano consciousness, your 6th consciousness, my 6th consciousness, is more active, interactive with unwholesome mental functions than the first 5. Let's look at hatred. Can the eyes actually arouse the hatred? The eyes cannot. It is so hidden. It is so latent. It is so subtle that the eyes are not involved with such a subtlety. How about vengeance, revenge? Your first 5 consciousness, they're not subtle enough to have that kind. How about vexation, jealousy, harm, parsimony? You know parsimony? You don't want to give, you just want to receive. You're like a miser. You don't want to give out anything. Anything you want to give out, I don't want to help anybody. I don't want to donate. Why should I donate? The government should be responsible for helping the poor. Why should I help the poor? Some people would have that kind of judgment. Why do I have to do charity work? I pay tax. The government should do it, right? So I don't want to involve in any donation, any generosity. I don't want to give. Parsimony, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body cannot do parsimony. Pride, concealment, flattery, deceiving. These are too subtle for the first 5 consciousnesses. They are for the 6th, the inside, the mano consciousness. And like arrogance, doubt, and false views, they're so subtle that only the mano consciousness has this kind of mental functions, unwholesome mental functions. So in other words, our sixth consciousness is extremely versatile in interacting with these unwholesome mental functions. It is extremely active in it. It is extremely dangerous. Our mental functions, our sixth consciousness is extremely dangerous when it gets involved with unwholesome mental functions. When it gets into bad friends, it is extremely active. It tends to do the wrong things most of the time because it's mental, it's advisors. Remember, each consciousness has advisors to each of our consciousness. Our sixth consciousness, which is the hidden consciousness, not the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the body. Those are obvious ones, obvious consciousness. This sixth consciousness has 26 bad friends in our consciousness. They are ready to advise you to do the wrong thing. And you listen to them. You befriend them. You like them. You like to hang out with them. You like to hang out with those who like to drink. You like to hang out with those who like to fool around. You like to hang out to many, many things that are involved with these unwholesome mental functions. Some people would say, why are you so negative? Sometimes we do good things. Of course, you have wholesome advices too. We haven't got to that part yet. We have bad friends in each of our consciousness. We also have good friends. But unfortunately, there are more bad friends than good friends with the present society that we have. With the karmic energy that's surrounding us, with the karmic energy that we ourselves are producing, with the karmic energy that everybody is producing, we've got more bad friends than good friends. So we've got to watch out. It's easy to hang out with the bad guys and the good guys. Do you have that experiences? I have that experiences in high school. Because all these bad karmic energies are surrounding me. They want to involve with drinking, with you name it. You should know more than I. Being a monk, I don't hang out. I don't read newspapers. I don't read newspapers. I don't get with bad news. But if you listen to news, you classify them. How much is bad, unwholesome energy, karmic energy, and how much is good energy. The mano consciousness is involved with 26 unwholesome functions. And how about wholesome functions? All those good friends. Does our mind only have bad friends? No, sometimes we have good friends. How many good friends we have? Good advisors, 11 of them. 11 of these good friends. And both have the same. Many of these we already have mentioned. We have 11 good advisors in us, advising our sixth consciousness what to do. But unfortunately, we've got more bad friends than good friends. So that's the reason why we're in trouble. So how about the 4 indeterminate mental functions? Regret, drowsiness, investigation, and scrutiny. The first 5 do not have these. But the 6th consciousness have these 4 indeterminate mental functions. Not sure, indeterminate. Why does regret, this advisor or this mental function, sometimes it could be good, it could be bad sometimes. It's indeterminate. Why? Regret, say for example, regret. Regret, if I have done the right thing, sometimes I regret doing the right thing. So that's bad. But if you've done the wrong thing and you regret doing the wrong thing, then that's good. Because you show your regret. So it's indeterminate. You understand what I mean? So I say, for example, I've donated, yesterday I went into a temple. I was so touched by what I see in the temple, by what they are teaching, by the Buddhist teaching, that I donated $100 to the temple yesterday. And then you went home and you said, oh, I shouldn't have done it. $100 is a lot of money. I should have spent $100 to a pub. Why would I give $100? I was too good at that time. You regret on doing something good. You regret on donating $100, and you think $100 is a lot of money. Why should I donate $100? I should have kept it. I should have invited my friends to a pub to drink or to do something else. So you regret on making the donation on a good cause. And that is bad, right? On the other hand, yesterday I scolded my friend. I shouldn't have done it. I should be more polite to him. You regret on you've done something wrong. Oh, that's good. You feel shameful what you have done something wrong. Something wrong, it becomes good to you because we regret doing it. It's always good to have regret in something that you have done wrong. You ask for forgiveness. That's good. So it's indeterminate. The same applies to drowsiness. Said if you're in meditation and then you always, that's bad. But if you are really tired, you want to go to sleep so that you can recover, that becomes good. So this drowsiness is indeterminate. So if you're really doing this, we should advise you, go home and sleep. Sleeping to you during meditation is no good. Sleeping to you at home to regain your energy is good. So it's indeterminate. So investigation and scrutiny is the same thing. You investigate on something it has a good and bad side, so it's indeterminate, or scrutiny. I already have explained it. All right? So, as far as concomitant mental functions is concerned, on this perspective, when we look at the sixth consciousness, the sixth consciousness is active, it's versatile, it has a lot of friends, good friends and bad friends, much more than the first five consciousnesses. So it's very active. You've got to watch your sixth consciousness. What do you do when you're meditating? When you're meditating, you try to train your sixth consciousness to stay put. Your sixth consciousness is not staying put. It's always like a monkey going out in every direction to look for friends, bad friends, good friends. It's always got into bad friends. Right now, why are you coming for meditation? You are training your mano, your sixth consciousness, to stay put and be calm and look at yourself. Don't get mixed up with the bad friends. Only make up with the good friends, so that you are yourself. You are who you are. You're not being misled. You're not being misled by externalities. You don't get into bad friends because you are in control. You're training. Every meditation session is you're training your mano consciousness, the sixth consciousness, to be still, to have a good reflection, and not like a monkey going around getting bad friends and making troubles. It's easy to explain meditation that way. You are training your mano consciousness. You are trying to raise your conscious level, the sixth consciousness level, to a sublimation of saint, of enlightenment, of understanding, of nirvana, of becoming a Buddha, of a clear understanding, the utmost intelligence, Samya Sambuddha, Anuttara Samya Sambuddha. You're elevating, you're sublimating. You go to that level in which you're training your sixth consciousness. And that's not just one time doing meditation, and you can do that. You have to do a series of lifelong training of the mano consciousness, so that you sublimate your consciousness level to that saintly level of the Buddha, saintly level of the Bodhisattva. That's what you're doing. It's not just like, I believe in the Buddha and I got blessings. Not that simple. You are doing it on yourself. You're educating yourself. Nobody can save you. Only you can save you. Not the Buddha. Not God. If God can save you, God will have saved everybody already. You don't have to suffer. If God has that power to save everybody and raise that everybody's sixth consciousness to a level of the saintly level, then nobody will be suffering. God cannot do that. Buddha cannot do that. You yourself create your own destiny, create your own heaven, create your own hell. But you got to train yourself, right? You can just talk about it. You just only have a conceptual understanding is not enough. Only have a conceptual understanding of what is in here, listening to this monk talking for years, and you don't practice it. You think that works out? No. After getting the conceptual understanding, you really have to walk it out. Train your mind. Purify your mind to that level. Talking about it is just theory. Throw away the theory. You have been in that theory for many, many years. You have been a professional student only getting information. You're only an information getter. In your computer, you only get all the information. You haven't digested it. You haven't gone through it. You have to walk it out. We get better and better example if we use computer these days. Everybody is like, most of us are information getter. They thought that they got the information, they're already okay. But have they absorbed the information? Have they digested the information? Have they assimilated every piece of information and work it out accordingly? No, they just get the information. Before we have all this computerization, what do? We buy all the books from the bookstores and just shelve it. We never get to read every book from page 1 to page 100. We just get the information. But now, no, the Buddha said, you got to practice. Meditation is one of the practices that the Buddha have advocated to us, introduced to us. You have to train your mind so that you're not under control of the bad friends in your mind, your bad advisors. We have more bad advisors than good ones. You got to watch out. Watch every thought, watch every action, watch your mind. The next on the agenda is the conditions for the production of consciousness. The first 5 we already have studied. How about the 6 that we're studying now? The first one is seeds as basis. For the sixth consciousness to work, the sixth consciousness required the memory, required the disk drive, right? What is that disk drive? The disk drive is in the 8th consciousness, the storage consciousness. The manager, your very active manager, required what? Required history, required latent seeds, latent energy to interact with it to work. So in the 6th consciousness, you need all these conditions to come true. Your attention, you have an object. That object could be external or could be internal. You could be creating your own object. Your mano consciousness is capable of creating its own object. For example, my mano consciousness, my internal consciousness. Right now, I'm meditating. I'm thinking of yesterday when I was in my doctor's clinic. I was talking to my doctor, and my doctor is saying this to me. What is that image? That is an image, even though your image of that doctor, of that clinic is not here, it's in your mind. Your mind creates that object. If that object was a real object, then that is an object that carries certain raw, true images. If that object is absolutely a fallacy, then it's a fallacy. Sometimes that object was a true object. Sometimes that object is absolutely false. Could be a misjudgment. All right, so object. Attention, you got to pay attention. Fundamental basis, that's the storage of the 8th consciousness. So The bell is already sounded. So right now we are studying the Mano consciousness, and more we find out that how that Mano consciousness fit into our practice now. Why are we meditating? It's just for health? No, we are training our mind to get into the saintly path, to get into enlightenment. We are training our mind, first of all, to be a righteous person, a good person, a reasonable, right individual. And then we slowly would get onto that higher level, going to that sublimation of a higher and higher and higher wisdom level. So that's what we're planning to do in every sitting of meditation that we're doing in here.